What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? We're back for another episode of Boys Talking Ball, and we're the boys. That's Bryce.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Bryce. How you feeling?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I've been waiting to talk NFL football. It was an action-packed weekend.
Dude, this weekend was crazy.
What are you doing?
I want to show you something on my guitar I've been working on.
Okay. Right here, right now.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
All right. And then I learned a little song with it. It goes, I'll never... You're always on my mind. You're the only one for me. You're all I need. And I'll never let you. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Something like that. Shoot.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? I'm working.
Dang.
I'm trying to get better, man.
You should start a podcast called Boys Playing Guitar.
You don't play guitar yet.
No, I don't. So
Notice I said yet? Because I'd be speaking that John into existence. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm kidding.
Well done, Bryce.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dang, I don't even know how to begin. That was so beautiful.
Rants off rip is the first thing we usually do on the pod.
It is. But before that, you had a good weekend. I know we both had off.
I've had a great weekend, man. My wife's sister was in Orlando. She's from California. And so it was like a girls' weekend. So I stayed home. The entire weekend just watching Rambo movies, dude. Rambo. It almost sounded like I said rainbow, but it was Rambo. Don't get it twisted. And, dude, I was watching like all the movies. It was fire, dude. And I was also playing, there's this new game that came out. It's not new. It's a couple months old, but it's called Pokemon TCG Pocket.
Oh,
and it's basically...
I was going to say Pokemon is not a couple months old, brother.
No. This game that came out on the phone, it's like a pocket version of the trading card game. And it's really fun. It's super easy to play. And I've been enjoying that. So I've been just playing that a bunch.
Excellent. You don't know what to do yourself when the wife's not around, huh?
Dude, just watch movies she would hate and play games she would hate that I'm playing when she's around. So
love it, man. Love it. No, I'm doing well. Wife's very pregnant these days, man. She's very pregnant.
Think about the pop.
We're 3 months out. I can't believe it.
Got a name yet?
Not yet. You got any suggestions?
Cleveland.
We actually tossed that out there.
Of course you did.
But I don't want to call my baby Cleve, so we're not going to do
Cleve.
that.
What about like Callahan?
I need a good short. We've talked about Callahan because I really like Cal.
Yeah, Cal's cool. Callum?
Yeah.
What about Callum?
We've talked about that too. She must go to youth and get all her baby name ideas from y'all because these are all names we've tossed around already.
I may send her a couple.
Anyway, man, doing well. Excited to be back at it for another week of football, man. This weekend was epic. It was awesome. So I'm pumped to get into this. You know how we start this thing. We got to do it right.
Go ahead. Hit your rant.
Rants off rip. I'll get us started with our Cleveland Browns.
Careful with that hour. Like partially hour. Like I'm not going to totally claim them. I will because I love you.
I don't expect you to claim them at all. I'm sure somebody out there listening is also a Browns fan.
Is there a lot of y'all? Dog pound go deep?
You gonna get me started?
No, I'm just asking. Are there a lot of dog pound?
Yeah, brother.
You're the only one I've ever met.
You really?
Name one other Browns fan we know.
Jordan Haas. Volunteers at our church.
Jordan Haas.
Security.
Oh, he's a Browns fan?
Yeah, man. He's
Says a
from
lot.
Ohio.
Says a lot about his character. I'm kidding. All right, go ahead.
Anyway. All right. The updated 2025 NFL draft order. You ready for this? I'm going to give it to you.
Go ahead, lay it on me.
This is back, by the way, and it's going to be back for the rest of the season. We're not playing games anymore. We're looking ahead. Okay. We're looking ahead.
Yeah, gotcha.
No hope. The Raiders at 2-12 with their loss on Monday night take the top spot. Then you've got the Giants at 2-12 in the second spot. The Patriots at 3-11 sit 3. The Jags at 3-11 are 4. The Panthers at 3-11 are 5. Titans at 3-11 are 6. And the Browns at 3-11 are currently 7th. We are the best, you could say, 3-11 team in the league.
Yeah, I need you to stop.
It's true.
I'm sad that you guys are that high at such a poor. Like, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be 7 when you've had a bad season.
You don't want to be 7 when somebody with the record that you have is 3. Like, I'd rather be 3, to be honest.
Yeah. What?
But there's
a lot factors that. That's so strange.
Head-to-head matchups, conference records, all that kind of strength of schedule.
Should not beat the Steelers.
You're probably right. We beat the Steelers and the Ravens, dude. That's probably hurting our draft stock right now. Anyway, man, just too many miscues. Again, I said it last week. The mistakes, the self-inflicted wounds. This team is actually not as bad as their record says they are, in my opinion. But week after week, we see them make mistakes to beat themselves. The Chiefs, obviously, we've talked about them. They're obviously good. Yes, they have not been playing to their potential as of late. They're 13-1. Dude, they're not as, at least they weren't on Sunday, as powerful as you might think the Chiefs are. At least they didn't look it against the Browns on Sunday. There was a lot of, 3 and outs, 4 and outs on the Chiefs end. They couldn't really get much going on offense. We fumbled a punt in our own territory. I believe it was like on our 30 or something. After we forced the Chiefs to punt, then we fumble the punt return. They get the ball and score their first touchdown. And they kind of never looked back from there. And dude, it wasn't a good game. We had 6 turnovers, 2 fumbles lost and 4 INTs. We were 4 of 12 on third down, which is 33%. We continue to be the worst team in the NFL on third down. It's just perplexing. We never broke the red zone, not once. We did not run a single play in the red zone, which blows my mind. 6 penalties, 35 yards, sacked 5 times. What's that?
Is that a first? Like, has that ever happened before?
I'm sure it has. I feel like we would have heard about it if it was a first. Yeah. I'm sure it's happened before, but I don't know. I don't have the numbers on that. I want to zoom in a little bit. That's just the kind of zoom out, big picture. This team isn't performing well, shooting themselves in the foot. That's that look that I just gave you. But let's zoom in on just a couple of details. The first of which is that Nick Chubb broke his foot and he will be out for the remainder of the season. It's just disappointing, man. And he wasn't having a crazy good year since coming back, but he fought so hard to come back from that knee injury. And I don't know, we'd have to look back and see how some running backs have performed the year after a massive knee injury like that. But I'm assuming it takes most running backs or players in general some time to recover. I could be wrong. You might be able to throw out a name or two that had great success, but I would say more often than not, you're going to see that, hey, they need time to ramp up and get healthy and get better. So that's kind of what this season was for Nick Chubb, seeing as how he didn't return until about halfway through the season. He had, some games to get comfortable, to get his legs back underneath him, to figure out what game speed is like again, just to kind of get in that rhythm and then have a great offseason and come back strong and ready to go next year.
I mean, legs got stronger, but his feet got weaker.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe that's true. He was doing a lot of squats, but I don't think he was doing any like foot exercises. I don't know what those are or if that even matters. No, I'm not here to dog on my boy Nick Chubb, dude. It's just a bummer. It's just a bummer. You hate to see it. It's not something, whether he plays for the Browns next year or somebody else, like I want this dude to do well. I want him to have a long, successful, healthy career. And it sucks to see an injury like this after he's come off of that massive injury. He's 28 years old. So he's young, dude. He's got time.
Usually running backs, go into a little early 30s and then call it.
I think that is an older mindset though now, because you see the Derrick Henrys and the Saquon Barkleys and the older running backs still seemingly like holding strong. So I feel like Nick Chubb is in that class. he definitely was in that class before he got hurt. Now
Sure.
we'll see if he can return there. Again, I hope he does, and I hope he's a Brown for the rest of his career. I would love to see him continue to play here in Cleveland. It's just a matter of what they're going to do. And I think that's the big question that fans are kind of asking after Sunday's game, again, because the loss is what it is. I don't think anybody sincerely expected us to beat the Chiefs. But the question is like, will Nick Chubb play for the Browns again? I don't know if he will or not. His current deal is just for 1 year, a little over $2.2 million.
So he's a free agent this
He'll be a
season?
free agent after this season. Yes, that's
Has
correct.
he expressed any interest in trying the market out or anything?
No, he's expressed interest in wanting to be a Brown the rest of his career.
Oh,
Yes.
well, then they'll probably make that happen. I
I
mean,
sure hope so.
I know a lot of teams would like to gamble on him.
What worries me is that they'll do the, oh, it doesn't make sense business wise, and they'll let him go or whatever. I feel like the fans and the fan base need this one. Like, we need this win. We need Nick Chubb to be a Cleveland Brown. And even the players love him in that locker room so much. Joel Bitonio, our Pro Bowl tackle, said, I think if Nick Chubb wants to be a Brown, he'll be a Brown next year. I think he's earned that, and they'll figure something out. So I feel like it feels like they will get a deal done for him. That's not to say that they may not and probably will bring in another running back in the offseason, whether they do it through the draft, which is super running back heavy this year, or whether they sign somebody in the offseason. Now, Jerome Ford has played very well for this team. He scored the only touchdown on Sunday for the Browns, and he's had a great year spelling Nick Chubb and taking over for him when he's not on the field. Is he the guy that you're going to lean on, full time moving forward? I don't know if he is or not. He may seek a new home for more money. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there, but it'll just be something to keep your eye on in the offseason if Nick Chubb is an option that they want to keep around in Cleveland, or if we see him test the market. It'll be interesting. My last point, and then we can move on, is that Jerry Jeudy has been one of this team's few bright spots this season. And
Yeah,
this
he's
dude
looked
is
great.
really, really overachieving, I think, for the trajectory of his current career. On Sunday, he had 11 catches for 108 yards. Now, he didn't get in the end zone, but he did surpass 1,000 receiving yards in a season for the first time in his career. And what I love the most is that in the locker room after the game, he was asked about that. He's like, what's it like to eclipse 1,000 yards for the first time? And this was his response, and I loved it. He said, right now, at this moment, it don't mean nothing. Reaching 1,000, I'm extremely grateful, but unfortunately, that 1,000 don't mean nothing without going to the playoffs, without winning games. Dude, those are guys you want in your locker room. Over the past 6 weeks, he's had, I think, 49 catches and 0 drops. Like, this dude has been outperforming.
Yeah, you've been balling.
He's been performing, I think, better than anybody thought he would in this particular season. And now the quarterback change really helped that, because he wasn't really seeing this kind of production with Deshaun Watson under center. And once Jameis took over, it was like a new player. And I believe since Jameis took over, he's like top 3 in receiving yards in the league. So this dude he's having a great season. I'm excited for the future of him in Cleveland. I hope that we can land on a quarterback that's capable and competent and can throw the ball, because if so, he's definitely a weapon that we'll have moving forward, and I'm looking forward to it. But overall, man, it is what it is, man. I think Browns fans are finally just kind of exhaling on the season. We'll see how it plays out the rest of the year, but we're really looking at that draft stock. We're talking about quarterbacks again, which is a sad position to be in. I used to do this every year with the Browns 3-4 years ago, and we were talking quarterbacks, and then, we didn't have to do that for a few seasons, but seemingly we're going to be back in that spot, dude, and it is what it is. But
well, you saw DJ declared for the draft, right, from Florida State. I mean, he's probably going to be a perfect fit for someone like you guys, maybe. All right. Well, first and foremost, one little note on your Browns game. I took the Smalls daughters out for lunch on Sunday, and we went to B-Dubs, and apparently that's a Kansas City Chiefs joint, because there's tons of Chiefs guys in there, and every time a big play happened, they would stand up, start screaming and clapping, and all those girls love you, and they're like, who they playing? And I was like, the Browns, and they go, aw, and they all just like sighed of sadness, because it was they knew that wasn't good. And so I just want you to know, man, we care about you, and we all mourned. And I'm never going back there on a Sunday again. It was insufferable, dude. I mean, the amount of Mahomes jerseys that were in there made me want to throw up. On to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers having a dominating, decimating win over the number one ranked scoring defense in the league going into Sunday. Baker balled out. He had 4 touchdowns, 135.3 QBR, which to your point a few weeks ago means you had a great game. Yes or no? Yeah. So he had 25 yards rushing. I just added that because a couple of those, a big one was on third down to get a first down. You made a comment earlier about how Cleveland is the worst in the league on third down. Tampa's the best in the league on third downs. And so it's been cool. Dude, that is such a, like, when I was reading that and I heard the announcers talking about it, I just smiled because I've suffered for so long knowing, like, when it's third down, my team's not getting it. Like, there is no hope. 3rd and 4, yeah, you might as well punt now. Like, but now it's cool to see, like, Baker. I have it right here, like the heart of Baker Mayfield, man. His competitive spirit, every play he treats like it's his last play. Like, this is the last play of the game. It's first down, bro, in the first quarter, and he's like breaking sacks, running with this, like, it is crazy to watch. He's just a football guy, man. He's a fighter and he never quits, and that's the most important position in football is the quarterback position. And to have a player who never quits, who never gives up, he just makes it happen. It's awesome to see. It's awesome to watch. Going into that game, the Chargers had the spread. I'm happy our team came out there defensively and offensively, stepped up to the plate and played great. I would warn the rest of the league, watch out for this team week 1 of the playoffs, because this is not a team you want to face week 1. We're getting healthier and we're angry. We're tired of people looking at us like we're some trash team. Like, do not see us week 1. I swear if we play the Eagles or Packers, they're getting cooked. Lions, different story. Maybe we'll talk about the Lions' health in a minute, but Bucky Irving, let me just talk about Bucky. This man, Bucky, had 15 rushing attempts for 117 yards, averaging 7.5 or 7.8 actually yards a carry. He came in with that hip and back injury. He didn't look as fast as he usually do. There's a big run in the game that he had that usually he would take to the house, but he got stopped. He got caught. And it just looked like he was running out of juice, and we know he's dealing with those injuries, yet he still had a big game. And I was contemplating fantasy-wise. I have both Rashad and Bucky in fantasy. Don't ask why. It's probably dumb, but I do.
Who'd you trade to get Rashad?
We're not bringing that up right now. We're not doing that. Right, if you want to know who I gave up to get Rashad White, email us at boystalkingball@gmail.com. But I made a last minute decision. I was like, nah, I'm gonna put Bucky in, and they had very comparable numbers. I think Bucky had 5 more points, but it was wise to put Bucky in, and I'm glad that I did. He had a great game. Mike Evans had a freaking game, dude. Holy cow, that man popped off. And it's the game. He always has 1 or 2 of those a year where he just 2 tutties, over 150 yards. Sometimes it's 200 yards. Like, we knew it was coming. We just didn't know when. He is currently at 751 receiving yards. There are 3 games remaining. He needs 251 to keep his 1,000 yards a year record alive. I think he'll do it. Overall, offense and defense look great. Chargers didn't convert a single third down all game. They were 0 for 6 on third down. And here's another cool stat for you. Tampa's offense didn't punt 1 single time on Sunday. Our offensive stats were 506 total yards versus the Chargers' 206 total yards. We had 223 rushing, continuing that top 10 rushing offense we had. Again, last year we were ranked 32 in the league at overall rushing, and now we are top 10. I think we're number 8 in the league right now. And 283 passing yards. There's 2 costly turnovers in the second quarter, but we turned it around. Rashad White had a fumble, and then Baker threw a really bad pick. I mean, that pick, I knew you were going to talk about on the pod. Had we lost that game, you would have been like, man, we talked about it last week, those costly turnovers. It was ugly, dude. There was no excuse for it. It was bad choice, bad throw, bad all around. But we're getting hot at the right time. 4-game win streak, 3 games remaining, propelling us into the playoffs. We have the division right now. Would have loved for the Raiders to have got that Hail Mary touchdown on Monday, because that would have solidified it. But now the Falcons have some glimmer of hope. I don't think they'll do well. Next opponents, we got Cowboys, Panthers, Saints. I think a few weeks ago you mentioned Tampa will not go 11-6. Do you still think we'll drop any games remaining?
Yeah. You could drop any one of those three. I'm not saying you will, but those are all three teams that are pretty scrappy. I think you'll beat the Saints. You could lose to the way the Cowboys played on Sunday. They could beat anybody. This is not
they play?
This is not a slight at Tampa. This is just hey, if the Cowboys play
True.
like that and Cooper Rush plays like that, they can win. And then the Panthers, we'll see. I mean, didn't have a good showing on Sunday, but they've been playing a lot better. So nothing's guaranteed in the NFL. That is why I tend to lean on the side of probably not going to win all those, but you very well could. I'm not saying that you won't, and I'm not rooting against it. I'm just saying from a practical standpoint, it's hard. It's hard to win that many games in a row. We'll see.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I appreciate you saying that, man. Panthers did not look good on Sunday, and I think we all thought they were going to play the Cowboys better than they did.
Yeah, we did.
It looked like the beginning of the season Panthers to me. So who knows? Maybe, I don't know. Next time we play them, maybe it won't be as close as it was a couple of weeks ago. Either way, last thing I'll say about this game is Herbert had an ankle injury coming into the game. That thing was wrapped up like a Christmas present. And it looked like it. He was really slow. He was not moving well. And Todd Bowles took advantage of it. We were sending blitzes left and right, and it worked. Fun fact about when you blitz, most of the time when you blitz someone, you're in man coverage on the rest side of the field. And it works. I've been preaching it the last few weeks, man. Please do more man coverage.
Yep.
Overall, great dominating win against a top 5 defense, in my opinion. Number 1 scoring defense in the league. The rest of the areas you could argue about, but defense for us stepped up, and we're on track to, in my opinion, make a legitimate push for the playoffs.
I think over the course of this podcast's short life, you've said both that the Chargers were elite top 3 and that they...
What'd I say last week, though?
You said they're going to miss the playoffs. But now this week you're saying they have the best defense in the league.
No, I said top 5 defense coming into the game, which was statistically an accurate claim.
Got it. Okay. I'm just seeing where you land on it all.
I was so upset with the Chargers last week. And like, dude, I really was gunning for the Chargers like 5-6 weeks ago. Genuinely, I was. Like, I really liked them. I thought their team looked good. And then the way they lost to the Chiefs, the way they've been losing games, as legitimately losing J.K. Dobbins, Justin Herbert practically breaking his ankle. Like, I'm sitting here looking at what they have now, and I'm not bought in. Now, the Colts lost on Sunday, so my take it or leave it last week is probably shot now. The Chargers will probably make the playoffs, unfortunately, but I don't think they're going to go far. They don't look, dude, I don't know if you watched the Bucs game on Sunday. They genuinely looked like the wind was out of their sails. And that's how they've been looking the last few weeks. So I'm on your boat now.
Herbert didn't look healthy. Who knows what they look like when he's 100%, but he could barely walk. All right, here's to better weekends for our teams. Well, for my team next weekend. You know what?
Keep it up.
At this point, losses are good for my team.
What we can say is just keep it up. Like, your team keep losing, my team keep winning.
100%. I'm with that. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it up in the next week. Let's move on to some NFL news around the league. Bit of sad news to start, but I thought it was noteworthy because this is a guy that I used to watch when I was a kid, from his highs to his lows to some of his crazy touchdown celebrations. Dude, it's sad to see, but a Hall of Fame wide receiver, Randy Moss, announced on Friday that he's recovering from surgery to treat cancer. That's according to USA Today. So I guess apparently he's been battling a cancer for a while now, and he was in the hospital for 6 days for surgery, treatment, and recovery, and then was released on Friday, and he will continue chemo and radiation treatment. Prayers up to him, to his whole family, praying for a speedy recovery for him. This guy, not only has he been really good off the field, honestly, he's been great as an analyst. He's a part of the NFL Live crew on ESPN. On the field, dude's an absolute legend, man. His career, 982 catches, 15,292 yards, and 156 touchdowns. He's second all-time in receiving touchdowns in the history of the NFL, 6 Pro Bowl selections, 4 first-team All-Pro selections, and named to the NFL All-Decade Team of the 2000s. Like, this is a guy that's goated, man. When we talk about crazy catches, what do we say?
Well, the kids these days say Odell, but back in my day, it was Moss.
Way to ruin it. Way to ruin the. I set you up. I teed you up, and you replaced the ball with another ball.
I'm the youth guy, man. I got to tell you what next gen is up to. I got to fill you in on these new trends.
If I told the kids where Odell is on the all-time receiving list, they probably stop saying that.
Yeah, they should. No, it was Moss. It always will be Moss for me.
He's also not on a team. But yeah, we used to say, "What? It's just facts." He's not. He's currently a free agent. But no, we used to say, "You got mossed." Like, that's what we said. You got mossed. And it's because of this guy and some of his crazy acrobatic catches and athleticism on the field. And
He's
again,
a beast.
On the field, excellent. Off the field, excellent. Best wishes to that family. We'll definitely be praying for a speedy and healthy recovery for one of the GOATs. Best to ever do it. Brother, you were probably watching the Bucs game, so I doubt you tuned into this one. But tell me during commercials, you flipped over and watched the Bills beat the Lions and what I think is going to be a Super Bowl preview. Tell me you did.
I dabbled. I watched a little bit when I could, and that game was bonkers, man. I think the way Josh Allen is playing right now is out of this world. He is a different specimen. He's not real. And I'm not even trying to, what the kids are saying these days, glaze him, bro. I'm just saying that this guy, Josh Allen, is cooking, dog. He is, his stat line reads 23 for 34 for 362 yards, 2 touchdowns, 122.4 QBR, and 11 carries for 68 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns.
Did you know he broke another record?
There's no way.
He broke another NFL record. You want me to give it to you?
Yeah, what is it?
So you mentioned about his 2 rushing touchdowns. Those were the 63rd and 64th rushing touchdowns of his career. And with that, he passed Hall of Fame running back Lenny Moore in career touchdown runs. This is a guy that was a running back. He played the running back position. And he passed him. And now he's tied with Hall of Fame running back Larry Csonka for 49th on the all-time career rushing touchdown list.
I'm not going to lie.
He's top 50 in the history of the league in rushing touchdowns.
I don't know who either of those guys are that you just mentioned, but if they're in the Hall of Fame, that means they must be decent.
How about this? He already has passed Hall of Fame running backs O.J. Simpson and Terrell Davis. You know who those guys are.
Yes. I definitely know OJ for a lot of reasons. Free my man. He did nothing wrong. Okay. But Terrell Davis is a dog.
I'm pretty sure O.J. Simpson is not alive anymore, dude.
Oh, did he die? Rest in peace.
He died this year, man. April 10th.
Dang. My fault, OJ.
He is free now, right?
Well,
we don't know. We don't know where he stood. We don't know where he stood spiritually. Okay. Anyway, crazy what Josh Allen is doing right now, man. I am 150% on the Josh Allen for MVP train. Now, two caveats to that, okay? Because I know immediately people will be like, oh, what about Lamar? Oh my gosh, what about... Listen, Lamar Jackson, if he blows the league away in these next 3 weeks, if he has insane stats, which again, he might be able to do some incredible things over the next few weeks and still not win MVP if Josh Allen continues to do what he's doing. So I'll say that. But I mean, you can't slight what Lamar Jackson did on Sunday. Now, yes, it was against the Giants, but still, against any team to do this is nuts. 21 of 25, 290 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, a 154.6 QBR. Also added 6 carries and 65 yards.
Such a Lamar stat, dude. Every time he does get like a passing game going, it's always like he only has like 4 or 5 incompletions. It's crazy.
Yeah. It was, I mean, it's solid. As solid as you can be. The other interesting note, and I texted you and you immediately shut it down, but I still think there's room for argument for Jared Goff. I still think there is. And here's why. 38 of 59. Brother, in a loss. I
know. This game was insane. I was about to bring him up too. Go ahead.
38 of 59, 494 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, a 118.9 QBR. Bro, you can't argue with what Jared Goff's doing right now.
How tired do you think he was when he woke up after throwing 60 times? My arm would be a noodle.
And they lost.
My arm would be broke.
You got nothing to show for it, man. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, if the Bills continue to play like they're playing right now, and more so if Josh Allen continues to be as big of a part of these wins as he is, I don't think there's any way that you don't give it to Josh Allen. I don't know.
Here's what I'm worried about when it comes to the Lions and Jared Goff. Like, is the Lions team in general healthy enough to even push late in the playoffs? Because
yes,
I'm going to rattle off some late injuries that have happened and just some existing injuries that have been there all season. David Montgomery, okay, out for the season, injured himself week 15. This season, he has 221 rushes for 1,116 yards and 12 touchdowns. An absolute instrumental part to the Sonic and Knuckles 1-2 punch that they had going on in Detroit. Aiden Hutchinson broke his leg earlier in the season. He is on track to make it back in the late playoffs or possibly the Super Bowl if they make it there. Marcus Davenport, another edge rusher they brought in from, I believe, the Saints, who was supposed to be like a compliment to Aiden Hutchinson. He's out for the season. McNeil, their defensive tackle, got injured week 15, is out for the season. They have 3, actually 4. One's a special teams guy, but he was a great addition. Linebackers that are all out. And then Carlton Davis used to be a Buck, and he was our starting corner. He broke his jaw week 15, which I don't even know how that happens. And he's out 6 weeks. And so this team's banged up.
You didn't mention our boy Ifeatu Melifonwu on the IR.
He is on the IR, and I legitimately left him out on purpose because I still don't remember how to pronounce his name. So, and I don't care about him. He's not that big of a deal. But to me. But dude, that's an injured team, and specifically some good key players. Like, that's both of your starting edge rushers, your starting defensive tackle, your starting 2 linebackers, and your starting corner, and your starting running back. Those are all guys that are out for a very long time. Defensively, is this a factor? Yes, we know their offense. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs, the only thing that's going to change is he's going to get those carries. And we know Jahmyr Gibbs is great. He can do all of it. But I'm worried that they are getting unhealthy towards the season. Just as I'm like excited that the Bucs are getting healthy and we're having a legitimate push, I'm worried. And I'm a Lions fan. Like, I like the Lions, dude. I don't want them to lose. I mean, unless we're playing them. I want the Lions to make it to the Super Bowl if it's not us, if any other team. The problem is I'm worried that they're so unhealthy coming late into the season, and they still got to play hard because they're protecting that number 1 seed against the Eagles. A conversation needs to be had. Like, do they even make a late playoff run with how injury riddled their team is? I don't know. I'm curious to know what you think.
I think they will. And reason being is because of the guys that they still have in place and healthy. Yes, you lose David Montgomery, and he's a huge part of what you're doing, but you do have Jahmyr Gibbs to step in and fill that full-time role, and Craig Reynolds to back him up, a guy that's not fancy or special, but definitely formidable to be able to spell Gibbs as he handles a bit more of the load. Mm-hmm. You do still have your full slate of wide receivers in Amon-Ra St. Brown, in Tim Patrick, Jamison Williams, guys that have really been coming on. You still have your young stud at tight end, Sam Laporta. So, and you still have your offensive line is almost completely healthy, which is insane considering that seems to be the position that constantly is getting hurt this late into the season. So their offense is mostly intact and healthy. And if they continue to score points the way that they have been, I could see this not being as much of a factor as it might feel like it could be. Just to look at what they've been doing this season, they're averaging 32.8 points per game this year. I don't know. I just feel like, yes, the injuries are going to hurt. Most of them are on the defensive side. And it showed. I mean, they gave up, what was the final score the other night? They gave up, I think they scored 48. They gave up 48 to the Bills. Now
48-42.
Yeah. So you're playing, in my opinion, the best player in the league. And sometimes that happens. And they're not going to be able to continue at that rate. You can't give up that many points. And eventually it's hard to score that much, no matter how good your offense is. And so it hurt them the other day. But again, if they can be formidable enough, kind of like what you've been talking about with the Bucs this year, they've been very hurt on the defensive side.
Yeah.
And you're just asking them to be average. You're not asking them to be incredible. You're asking them to be good enough to get by so that your offense can take control of the game, right? Very similar story for the Lions now. And I'd argue that the Lions have one of the best offensive attacks in the league. So I think they're going to be okay. definitely it's the NFL. And once playoff time rolls around, you never know what could happen. And we'll see. We'll have to see what their matchups look like. Do they end up getting that first seed? Do they have some time to get healthy and rest and prepare and all that? I still believe in the Lions overall, just because, again, the majority of their offensive attack is still in place and healthy. And we'll have to see what happens moving forward. Okay, Bryce, you on this podcast have said the phrase legacy game more than I think I had ever heard it in my life prior to starting this podcast.
And I've been right every time.
That's debatable, but
fact check me.
Oh, okay. Anyway, how about the legacy game that Devante Adams had this past weekend?
You're crazy if you think I watch Jets football. You're crazy if you think I'm watching that team. But yes, I went back and looked at some of the highlights. I saw the highlights. Genuinely only YouTubed Devante Adams highlights. I didn't want to see a single other thing that happened that game. I don't have any of their players on my fantasy team. I do not care about the Jets. I just wanted to see. I hate him. I hate you. I like Devante Adams, though. I think he is one of the best wide receivers in the league a couple years ago, and went to the Raiders, which I thought was such a dumb. I thought that whole season of his career was stupid, but I know that he wanted out of Green Bay, whatever. Yeah, that game was crazy. Bro had what? How many yards receiving? 198?
Yeah, he did. So I'm actually not a Devante Adams fan. Did you watch the receiver series on Netflix?
Yeah,
dude. It just turned me off on him. I don't know. It felt like he's more about himself and his stats than
That's
the team.
fair.
It's another argument for another day. I won't debate that, and I'm not going to judge his character on the pod. But did you know this? Ponce de Leon, famous historical traveler. You don't recognize the name? Ponce de Leon?
Can you say it a little more pizzazz?
Juan Ponce de Leon.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great.
Oh, you recognize it now?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're
Have you been to St. Augustine?
I have. Yes.
You should know this name then. Have you done anything historical up there?
I just saw some stuff.
The point is, Ponce de Leon traveled to Florida famously in 1513 in search of the Fountain of Youth. I believe Aaron Rodgers and Devante Adams may have found it on Sunday.
This is the whole thing. This is what you were setting it up for. Are you kidding me? I thought I was getting a good history lesson, and you instead just threw some garbage at me and at my feet and said, "Here, take this."
No, man. If you'd have watched more than just YouTube clips of Devante Adams highlights, you'd have seen that, man, they turned back the clock. They seem to have it. But you mentioned it. 9 catches, 198 yards, and 2 touchdowns with a long of 71 yards. What's funny is all of that came in the second half. He had 0 catches in the first half, including 1 drop. So his 2 touchdown catches were his 100th and 101st of his career, which is 10th all time. It vaults him into 10th all time on the all-time receiving touchdowns list. Fun fact, as you always like to say, Mike Evans is 9th on that list currently. But Adams had 135 yards in the final 4 minutes of the game, which is the most in that span this century, according to ESPN, which is crazy.
I'm sorry, what?
He had, do you need me to read it again?
No, I was shocked. I understood.
Oh, got you. That was a reaction.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I'm sorry.
No,
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyway, it was just crazy what they did, man. And for me, it was cool. Like, it reminded me of the old Packers days when they were on top. Obviously, the Jets haven't had the success that they've wanted to have this year, and does it mean anything? No. And even Aaron Rodgers after the game said, "I wish it would have happened in a game that meant something." But he also said it doesn't take away from the fact that it was a special day.
Yeah.
So he was giving it its legitimacy while recognizing that the team has underachieved this year, and it is what it is. But it was just cool to see. And if they can get any type of similar production from Devante Adams and Aaron Rodgers next year, now that's assuming they both play for the Jets next year, and we'll see. So. But if they can get consistent production like that from those two, the team could be formidable.
If your quarterback literally says, "Dude, this team is cursed," I don't think he's playing for that team next season. I'm sorry.
We'll see. Moving on. How about the Eagles? Squashing the beef, man. We talked about a lot of Eagles beef last week on the pod.
Yeah.
And they basically went out there and said screw you to anybody who criticized them.
Yeah, they went out there and Jalen Hurts passed the ball and he scored some touchdowns, and one of those went to AJ Brown. And dude, did you see Brandon Graham apologize to the entire team, like in a meeting.
I feel bad for Brandon Graham, man.
Yeah, I don't think he did anything wrong. He literally was just like, well, the thing was, he was stirring up controversy because he was essentially saying like, hey, one doing his best, the other guy, well, he's, not doing his best. That you're implying someone's not doing their best.
Well, in my opinion, he spoke truth. I don't know. Again, we're not in that locker room.
Yeah,
we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Who knows? All I know is like he was just saying, hey, AJ's had problems with this kind of situation in the past. He doesn't handle it well when the ball's not coming his way. He's just speaking truth. He probably shouldn't have done it in front of a camera and on a mic.
I agree, yeah.
It is what it is, and he did what he did. He said what he said. I think they're past it now. Hurts after the game in his post-game press conference was like, is that what y'all wanted to see? Almost like toying with everybody. He's like, this is what y'all wanted, right? Like that's what you're looking for.
It's so funny because had that game gone in a different way and Jalen threw like 3 picks or whatever, they would not be talking like this. It'd be like, see what happens when you ask us not to run it? Like it just so happened they could talk their talk because they won. And I'm not hating on the Eagles. I'm just saying, like, had that not gone their way and they did try to air it out and it just went miserably, we would be even more as a media being like, oh, shoot, there's something going down there. Like, are the Eagles falling apart? And by the way, historically, this time of the season is typically when the Eagles start falling apart. So it's cool for them. Historically, again, anybody who listens to this that likes the Eagles will hear me when I say they played at home and they won and they made a statement and they threw it and they got touchdowns, which was cool to see because in this late in the season, in the past years, has been something where they would have lost and then it would have spiraled and it would have been like, what the heck is happening with Nick Sirianni, all these things. No, they won and they made a statement. And now it's like they're fighting with the Lions for the number 1 spot up there. And
yeah,
that was cool to see. I'm glad they got past that weird like little thing they were in.
For sure. Hurts, 25 of 32, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns, no INTs, a 125.3 QBR. Also had 15 carries for 45 yards and 1 touchdown. AJ Brown got 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. Devante Smith also over 100 yards and a touchdown. AJ Brown said after the game, that was our moment to tell everybody to shut up.
Oh, all right. Zipping it. I'm zipping it.
All right.
The real question I have following this game, and I'm curious to know what you think about it, is Pittsburgh's passive approach to their offense enough to win a playoff game, even just one? Dude, I was watching that game. I wasn't. It was on at the same time as the Bucs game, but I was following it. And I kept seeing like short pass from Russell, short pass here. And then like George Pickens was sidelined again. Legitimately, like I was talking to one of my friends who's a Steelers fan. I was like, dude, put Justin Fields in. Like at this point, at least Buddy will take a shot. Like Russell was just, it looked like Broncos Russell Wilson. And there's been flashes of Russell this season where, he's done decent. I'm not going to say great or like amazing, but like, he had 2 touchdowns, over 200 yards passing. You're like, okay, cool.
Well, we've seen over 400 yards passing from him.
Yeah. And that was the game where I was ready to come on the pod and be like, dude, is Russell Wilson back? Like, and I think that this game really showed me like, dang, this offense can be really stinky sometimes. And it's so passive. You want to see, as someone who was watching Deshaun Watson early in the season, you want to see your quarterback take some stinking shots, man. At least try to make something happen. And it just didn't feel like the Steelers were just too passive. I don't know.
Real quick, don't give a lot of detail. Just give me your current AFC top 3.
You're doing this on the spot, bro. We didn't even talk about this. We didn't.
No. Just think about it for a second and give me your top 3. Just 1,
Bills
2, 3.
number 1. You got to put the Chiefs there, even with an injured Pat. He'll be ready for the playoffs. Give me Bills, Chiefs, and then in that third slot, man, I mean, Ravens. I got to take Ravens. I can't put anyone else there.
Okay, what did I tell you 4 weeks ago when we did this?
Tell you? Bro.
No, this has been my argument.
Is this who you are?
No, listen, I'm proving a point to you. I'm actually supporting your point of saying that the Steelers have a passive offensive attack. That's what I'm saying. But I've been saying that for a month now because I just don't believe in what Russell Wilson brings to the table. You're right. We have seen flashes. We have seen a 400-plus yard game. We have seen him take shots, throw touchdowns, all of that cool stuff. But it's not consistent.
Yeah.
And because it's not consistent, I believe that takes away their legitimacy as a Super Bowl contender. I think that they could give teams trouble in the playoffs, but I don't see them as somebody that anybody's going to be afraid of in the AFC. I just don't. I mean, I think that the defense is good, but is vulnerable at times. The offense is lackluster and non-existent at times. And so what I'm saying, though, is that I'm not trying to win an argument, or I'm just saying my point for 4 weeks now has been that I don't trust in this offense's ability to score enough points for them to be serious contenders. And so they showed that. I think they showed that on Sunday, and it is what it is.
I mean, dude, speaking of players with like no drive and just being passive, let's talk about the 49ers for a second. Let's talk about I'm not gonna say his name.
You're saying no, hang on. No, you gotta say it, bro. I think you can hit that one. That's not hard.
Devondre Campbell.
There you go. Pretty good.
All right. Yeah, Devondre Campbell.
What's the headline?
He got suspended 3 games the rest of the season. After on Thursday night, he just left during the third quarter. Bro hit Antonio Brown and just left and said, I don't want to play. I just don't feel like playing. So I'm pretty sure the GM, which is for the 49ers, he played for the Bucs. John Lynch, our safety, had a conversation with him, and
which I think is epic. It's not the coach. It's not the linebackers coach. It's not the defensive court. It is the team's general manager coming down to the sidelines and talking to you, dude. I love that. Let
me talk to this guy real quick. And I think they probably had some more conversations, and it boiled down to, hey man, like, we have to do something disciplinary. I get what you're going through. I hear it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm sure that guy had a lot to say. At the end of the day, they said, all right, here's what we're going to do. You're done for the season. We'll review your contract later. Do I think they cut him? I don't know. Like, dude, that does something to a locker room. And you tell the players weren't happy about it. And like George Kittle was saying some stuff. Some of the other guys were publicly saying stuff. So if that stuff's being said publicly, what's being said in the locker room? Safe to say he wasn't in that locker room after the game and they were talking some trash. Like, I know how guys are. And they were probably all like, man, bump him, dude, whatever. Like, he don't want to be here with us and don't ever come back kind of thing. Like, bro's got a lot of work to do if he wants to rebuild that reputation. I personally don't see him on this team next season. And with an act like that, I'm worried he may never get a contract again. Maybe he'll get some practice squad stuff. But, dude, like, you can't quit on your team. That says so much about your character.
Right. Bro really said, I know how guys are. Man, we talk trash about people.
We do, bro. We're not good people. That's not just guys. That's everyone. I'm not saying you and me. I'm saying humans in general aren't good people. And if, dude.
Hey, this is what we do on Boys Talking Ball. We come on this podcast. We tell truth, okay? We speak truth.
When you give up on guys you go to battle with every single week, I personally would be in that locker room like, where is he? Because I'm about to give this dude a nuggie. Like, I'm not happy with this guy. And some people are more vocal than others. I get that. I just think everybody probably had a sour taste in their mouth following him leaving like that. That's not cool.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. And what's funny is the 49ers really wanted to stick it to him. They didn't just want to like cut him and get him out of the locker room. They wanted to make sure he didn't collect game checks, which is crazy because they didn't cut him. They suspended him, which, by the way, a suspension like this for an act like this is unprecedented. We've seen Deontay Johnson recently this season got suspended 1 game for the Ravens for refusing to go in. This exact same issue. He told John Harbaugh, I am not entering the game. And they suspended him for 1 game following that. And so to see a 3-game suspension, that's almost a quarter of the season. That's a lot of football. Not to mention, it's a lot of money that he's missing out on. According to Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, he will be out more than $700,000 in game checks, and a suspension rather than a cut. A suspension allows the 49ers to potentially get back some of his original $3.35 million signing bonus. And it also doesn't allow him to join a contender in free. Dude, it's like they are not just cutting him and saying, hey, we're going to get you out of this organization. We're going to get you out of this locker room. They're saying, no, we'll keep you on the team. We're going to suspend you the rest of the season. Don't come to the facility and you're out 3 straight game checks.
Dang,
and by the way, remember that signing bonus we paid you? We might get some of that back now. And by the way, you wanted to join the Chiefs, the Bills, the Lions, a lot of injuries over there. They could use an all-pro linebacker. Nah, not going to happen. You're still a 49er for now.
For life.
That is crazy to me, dude.
I wonder if that conversation with John Lynch actually didn't go really well. And John Lynch was like, all right, bet. I'm the GM. I can make stuff happen. By the way, your key fob won't work either.
That legendary Jets meme.
Oh yeah, Jamal Adams, dude, pulling up the facility and the doors locked. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's move on.
I want to do a new segment. It's a bit of a, on theme with a lot of teams getting eliminated from the playoffs. I wanted to just bring a couple of these teams to the funeral. Okay. And I wanted to write them letters today pronouncing my sincere and utmost respect and love for these teams. And so I wrote two teams in particular. I know there's a lot of teams eliminated from the playoffs, but there are two teams in particular that I will be bringing to the funeral today and bringing my letter and just giving some sort of acknowledgement to the fact that their season is over.
You need to get it off your chest. It's right. Something that you've been holding in that you need to get off your chest. I didn't really come dressed for a funeral. Is that okay?
That's okay. Come as you are. Come as you are, man.
All right, let's have a funeral.
That's great. So yes, we have the casket right in front of us, and here lies the Bears. Dear Bears, I'm writing to acknowledge your elimination. Though I must admit our relationship was never particularly warm, we coexisted, but that's about it. Our memory that stands out to me is watching you try to play football on Thanksgiving and ruining any hope we had that you'd beat the Lions. Let's just say winning isn't your strong suit. I couldn't help but feel disappointed every time I saw you struggle on the field. As you move on to the next season, I hope you'll find a sport that suits you better, maybe something that doesn't require winning. Rest in peace, I suppose. Sincerely, Bryce. Let's pray. Amen.
Hey, bro, hang on. That was, you killed them. You murdered them.
What's crazy is we're all football fans here, right? And anybody who listens to this cares about football in some capacity, or they care about us. And I'm not a huge Bears fan whatsoever, but I needed them to beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. And I needed them to win some upsets I had projected this year that they just sucked. And Caleb Williams sucks right now. He needs a year to work on himself. He just needs to work on a lot. But for some reason, you know how there's just some teams like the Jets too, just they make me mad. Like I watch them, I'm like, I don't like you. I don't like your team.
Oh, we found that out about the Jets earlier. Quite the reaction to me.
Why don't you hop in my wagon? Because we actually have another funeral to go to. Would you mind just jumping in? Can you just jump in the back real quick?
Like I'm riding in a wagon, like a child?
No, just like a Wagoneer, like it's a car. Get in the car.
Okay. Back seat or front?
Back seat. Front seat's full.
That's weird. Are you chauffeuring me? That's weird. Okay.
I'm just get in. Can you shut the door, please? Can you shut the door?
Shut.
Okay, thank you.
Turn the air down, please. Turn the air down.
Air down. Yeah, okay. Well, my AC's broken, so just roll down a window. Can you roll down a window?
It's down. Read the letter.
Yeah. Okay. Right before us right now in this casket, we have the Jets season. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a sight to be seen. We actually had to do a closed casket for this one. This Jets season has been so ugly, and how it's ended has been abysmal. It's disgusting. So this is the letter I have for the Jets and for all the Jets fans and family in attendance. This letter is my memento to your team. Dear Jets, I'm writing to acknowledge your passing, though I must admit I'm not shedding any tears. Our relationship was strained, to say the least, and I'm still trying to process the disappointment you left us all with. A big part of that disappointment falls squarely on the shoulders of your captain, Aaron Rodgers. And I use the term captain loosely, as his leadership was lackluster at best. Time and time again, we watched as he failed to rally this team, failed to make crucial plays, and failed to inspire any resemblance of confidence. My memories of your team are filled with frustration and disillusionment. I recall countless games where you had the lead only to squander it away through careless mistakes and poor decision making. It was like watching a recurring nightmare with no escape from the disappointment. Jets, as you move on to the great beyond, I can only hope that you will find a way to redeem yourselves. Maybe in the afterlife, you'll find a league where a unique brand of ineptitude is celebrated. Until then, I will remain unimpressed. Sincerely, Bryce. Well, it looks like they're kicking me out of this funeral home. Okay, I'm sorry. I did not know how to offend all of you. All right, Mitchell, I need you to get in the car.
In the wagon here. Well,
Those are that's my funeral, man. These teams I'm putting to rest, and we got a bunch. I think if you guys like this segment, we'll post it on social media and go run the likes up. Let us know that, because I think, Mitchell, you got some as well.
Maybe for next week. That's
what I'm saying.
But I didn't want to bring the mood down too much. I just, I think 2 is enough for 1 week.
I've heard your eulogy of a couple teams, and my God, it is completely savage. So if you guys want to hear Mitchell's, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know. Hit us up on Instagram or TikTok. If you think mine are savage, I would go out to say that Mitchell's is cutthroat.
Maybe we should have a wedding next week.
Yeah, maybe we should have a wedding.
We have a wedding where a team gets married to the playoffs.
I like that. And then we write a best man speech. All right. I like that idea.
We'll toy with some ideas.
Up next, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Take It or Leave It. This is where we'll come together and we'll just throw some takes out there, and you can either take them or leave them. Mitchell, what do you got for us, man?
I'll kick it off. I think we're each only gonna do one today, right? So let's talk a little bit more about, I should say, the 49ers. We were talking a little bit about Mr. Campbell earlier, but I want to talk about what we've dubbed as the most important position in the league, and that is quarterback.
Cornerback.
No.
I said quarter. I said quarter.
Quarter, like the currency.
Corner.
No.
Travis Hunter?
Take it or leave it, Bryce. The San Francisco 49ers should offer Brock Purdy the max extension this offseason.
Max?
Max.
You want me to take a max extension? Top quarterback market money?
Take it or leave it.
Give me an idea of what that contract would be. I just need to know how much moolah you're saying.
Currently, Dak Prescott is making around $60 million per year.
Well, here's where I'm torn. I think he should be paid more than Dak, because I think he's better than Dak. But I don't think he deserves to be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Take it or leave it.
I partially leave it. I take a little bit. It's like a cake. I don't take the whole cake. I just take a slice. I'm just taking a little bit. I'll take a little bit. I think he deserves an extension, just not a max extension.
Then you're leaving it.
Not all of it though. I'm taking a little bit. Like I put a little in my pockets.
No, it's not how this works. My take is that they should offer him the max extension. If you don't believe they should, you're leaving it.
I think a lot of people would agree he doesn't deserve to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. So
then just leave it.
Okay, I am. Let me finish my sentence.
Let me tell you why I believe that you and everybody else that watches this league should take that take. Okay?
Okay.
Quarterback is the most important position in football. When you find a good one, you need to hang on to him. Okay? This is why Sam Darnold is going to make insanely more money than he should this offseason.
It's also great dating advice, what you just said, by the way.
What?
When you find a good one, you got to hang on to him.
Yeah.
That's great dating advice.
Good advice for anything in general. You find a good burger joint, hang on to it, man. Keep going back. You find a good car.
Burger joints.
What does that mean?
You love a good burger?
Where's that coming from? I don't think I've mentioned burgers in the past week of my life before this.
Dude, you're always talking about burgers, Mitch. No one's told you about this? You bring up burgers every day.
Anyway, when you find a good one, Bryce, you need to keep it. And I'm talking about quarterback. Most important position in football. And look, if you don't have a good one, it doesn't matter what pieces are around him. You don't have a good quarterback, the offense is not going to go as you're hoping. Purdy's eligible for a contract extension this offseason for the first time in his career. He's still on his rookie deal, which is a 4-year, $3.7 million contract. So he's making less than $1 million per year. Now, this upcoming year, the way the contract is laid out, he's on track to make $1.1 million in 2025 if he were to play on his current deal. Usually after year 3 is the year when teams like to extend their rookie quarterbacks if they're going to go that route. It's either, hey, you're going to be extended, you're going to be here for a long time, or hey, we're going to go a different direction and you can find new employment. But look, when you look at what he's done, I just don't see how they could rationalize moving on from him and taking a chance on somebody else, unless it's somebody that's top tier quarterback, somebody that's proven in the league recently. He led the NFL last season with a QBR of 73.4. Now this year he's down to 64.9, which isn't great, but still ranked top 10 in the league entering games on Sunday. He's probably not going to ask for the max $60+ million deal. And like I mentioned, that's what Dak Prescott is currently getting. And though Dak Prescott has been to 2 less conference championships and 1 less Super Bowl. I mean, this is what Brock Purdy is doing in 3 years in the league. Now, this year hasn't gone how they planned. They're not completely eliminated. They're probably eliminated. It is what it is. But his first 2 years in the league, conference championship appearances. His second year in the league, a Super Bowl appearance. How could you look at the totality of his work and decide that you want somebody else? Why you roll your eyes?
Because I don't want to get off track, but you said totality every episode of the pod at least once. And I was rolling my eyes because I knew at some point I was going to be in. I'm not mad though. I love it. I love you. I love the way you are. I thought it was, I knew at some point he's going to say totality. I agree with you. I agree with everything you say. He should be extended. I just don't think he should get max money. And especially after a season. Well, after the season they've had, the GM and that front office can make a really good case and say, hey, Brock, hey, we want to extend you. But after last season, man, like, we can't give you max money. Like, look how bad we did. Why don't you take a 30-40 million a year contract? And they probably get him with that.
Would you say that Trevor Lawrence deserved the contract he got?
Heck no. I don't think he deserved it. Dude, the money they're dishing out for QBs is insane.
Okay, but that's my point. You're right. It is insane. And I mentioned Trevor Lawrence. He got extended to $55 million a year. I don't know what the total contract was, but crazy, crazy numbers. And Purdy's accomplished more in his first 3 seasons than Trevor Lawrence has. I mean, so
that's true.
He's performing.
And he was Mr. Irrelevant, which is crazy. He was the last pick in the NFL draft.
And I think that works to his detriment, sadly. I believe that that's a reason why people look at him the way they do, because he wasn't a high draft pick. He's not a name that was being talked about top 10. Like, he's got that going against him, honestly. Yeah. But if you take that out of the picture and look at what he's done and how he's performed, you can't deny. I would love to have Brock Purdy as a Cleveland Brown. I would love that. Not only is he a good dude off the field, great performer on the field, and yes, he has ups and downs. He's in his 3rd year. He's young. Every quarterback has ups and downs. It is what it is. Nobody has a perfect seat. Like, it is what it is. But I just feel like this guy has performed well enough to be talked about. Not to mention, you mentioned how the quarterback contracts that are being offered continually go up and up and up and up. Everybody was talking about that Deshaun Watson deal a couple of years ago.
Ooh.
It's not even being talked about anymore because we've already eclipsed that. So we are going to continue. The market is going to continue to rise for these guys. Yeah. And if Brock Purdy were to make $60+ million moving forward in his career, we'll talk about it this offseason, but we won't next year because there'll be a new guy that vaults and elevates to make even more money than that. So I just think when you look at what he's done, and again, we could talk about it stats-wise, he's 30-14 in his career, including the playoffs, 8,828 yards, 59 touchdowns, 24 INTs, 67% completion. We mentioned the conference championships. We mentioned the Super Bowl appearance. I would take that any day. I'd pay this guy whatever the freak he wants to keep him on that team. That's my take.
You know what? I'm still going to leave the max part of it out for me. But what I will say is, would I be surprised if he got a max extension? No, I wouldn't be surprised. If come next season they did sign him to $65 million a year, $60+ million a year, I'd say, you know what? That doesn't surprise me. That's what the market is. They want their guy. They found their guy. They got their guy. And I think you're right. Being Mr. Irrelevant does hurt him, because if Caleb Williams was playing the way that Brock Purdy played his first year and second and third year, and we would be like, wow, no, this is amazing.
Immediately.
Like, yeah, he'd get his extension. That's why Trevor Lawrence got it. Like, because these guys had high expectations coming in and somewhat delivered to those high expectations, whereas Brock Purdy had 0 expectations coming this season, completely blew those expectations out of the water. It wasn't even recognizable what the expectation was afterwards, but they still have low expectation for him. A lot of people, including myself, I don't think Brock Purdy and think, oh, elite, but he's been playing great. The stats show he is a good quarterback. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he got top money. If they think he's the guy and gave him the money to be the guy, he's a good locker room guy, then yeah. So that's where, for me, it's hard for me to leave this one. I personally, if I had to put money on it, would say he would be below 60, but I wouldn't be surprised if he went over 60.
Let me ask you a quick question. Would you extend Baker at the max?
I love the contract we have Baker for, a 3-year, like $30 million. Like, dude, we paid really well for him. If we gave Baker a max contract, that would blow my mind, but I wouldn't be mad about it. Personally, wouldn't be mad. I'd pay the guy whatever it takes. Do I think he deserves it? Not yet. Fun fact, Baker Mayfield between last season and this season is the only quarterback to throw for 60 touchdowns. He's the only one. And so, like, over the last 2 seasons, he's played great. And he's got 2 more years left on his contract after this year. We'll see where he's at after that. I know he's going to be playing. He's a dog.
I think he's got 1 year. His original deal was 3 years, $100 million, $50 million guaranteed. So he's in the $30 million range yearly, which the reason I bring it up is not just to bait you, but it's also because a lot of people are comparing Brock Purdy's potential extension to that contract. They're saying that he deserves more of a Baker Mayfield contract than he does a Dak Prescott contract. I don't know, man.
I mean, I would argue, correct me if I'm wrong, Baker is outperforming Dak, Trevor Lawrence, and those other guys that have way bigger contracts.
Sure.
So, I mean, you could talk contract talks all day. Our whole pod could be dedicated to contracts because they're so freaking weird. And the money that's spent, nobody knows why Dak got what he got. Nobody thought that would have been the thing. I know the Glazers have a lot of money, those owners for Tampa, and we're always in a good salary cap position. If we ended up paying Baker $60 million a year and it was a long-term deal, I wouldn't be mad about it, if that answers your question.
I'm just curious to know what you would say, because Baker's accomplishments are not Purdy's accomplishments. Crazy enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just wild. Would you pay Sam Darnold a max extension? I know, man, but this is why it's intriguing to me, is because there are guys out there that got to make these decisions.
Sam Darnold deserves to have like a Baker extension if they even wanted to do 3 years, because that's what Baker got after 1 season of playing well. This is now Baker's 2nd season of playing well, playing better than last season. So to me, it's like, if Sam Darnold next year balls out again and the freaking Vikings go 10-2, 11-2.
But he's not going to get that chance, though, because this is the year. Like, yeah. It's either he's on a 1-year deal. So as we mentioned last week,
you and I are not Darnold believers. So I would not, personally.
Yeah. I think of the 3 guys we're talking about, Purdy, Baker, Sam, I would extend Purdy max. I would consider Baker. It's tough, dude. I've seen the bad of Baker too.
Imagine
man.
having this conversation. Imagine having this conversation 3 years ago.
I know, it's crazy. But you've seen Baker Mayfield's bad too, bro. You used to talk trash about this dude every Sunday to me, dog. So look, I'm just saying, like, totality of the work, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Ultimately, I just think they need to pay. Again, when you've got a good one, you got to hang on to them, and they got a good one in San Francisco. I'll be darned if they let that dude go, if they let him walk for less than what he's worth. We'll see.
My take it or leave it this week is near and dear to my heart. It's been something I have been closely watching since this man was drafted from Nebraska. My take it or leave it is Levante David is a top 10 inside linebacker of all time. All time, not just currently, of all time. And if he does not retire at the end of the season, I believe he'll have a better career than Derek Brooks had and other linebackers alike. I believe Levante David has had a better career than Bobby Wagner, Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis, and he's on pace to surpass Derek Brooks if, again, he doesn't retire. Here's what I wanted to share with you, Mitch. In Levante David's career, he has a combined 1,584 tackles. 1,100 of those are solo. Okay. 484 tackles assisted, 167 tackles for loss, 39 sacks, 69 pass deflected, 13 interceptions, and a stat that I think goes heavily unnoticed is 31 forced fumbles, which is the most of any current era linebacker ever. And so I know a lot of people believe Luke Kuechly was one of the best middle linebackers of all time. Would you agree?
I think that he was on track to be one of the best, and maybe his body of work is enough, but he didn't play long enough to me to be considered. But he's a stud for sure.
Levante David has been overlooked his entire career. He has made one Pro Bowl. He has gotten one first team All-Pro pick. And it is a crazy thing for me to see. He does have a Super Bowl ring, and he played excellent in that Super Bowl against the Chiefs, which the only other people on the list, notably that have Super Bowl rings, are going to be your Bobby Wagner, your Ray Lewis, and your Derek Brooks. Luke Kuechly, Patrick Willis, Brian Urlacher, Zach Thomas Jr., Sal, I don't know how to say his name. Sayal. Never won a Super Bowl.
Say out my name. Say out my name.
Say out my name. These guys never won a Super Bowl. Again, I'm not even going to go off the Super Bowl. What I want to share with you is a picture from the year that Luke Kuechly won Defensive Player of the Year. Do you remember what year that was? That was 2013. I want you to tell me who you think deserved to win Defensive Player of the Year. So, mind you, Luke Kuechly won Defensive Player of the Year this year with 4 interceptions, 2 sacks, 93 solo tackles, and 156 total tackles. Levante David's stats were 5 interceptions, 7 sacks, 107 solo tackles, and 145 total tackles. And I believe this year he had 2 fumbles as well, forced fumbles. So that is 7 total takeaways, 7 sacks, 107 solo tackles, and 145. The only area that Luke Kuechly had a better statistic in was his total tackles, which were assisted by other teammates. If I told you which one of these guys got Defensive Player of the Year this year, who would you pick if you didn't know?
Well, my question to you was, before I give you that answer, is how did the teams do that year? So the Bucs finished with a record of 4-12. Mm-hmm. The Panthers finished with a record of 12-4.
I am aware.
So we've talked about that before too. It's like individually, and you could argue that Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year is an individual award. And you could argue that MVP is not necessary. I don't know wherever you stand, but I'm just saying, we talked about this in the MVP realm, but in this particular category, immediately I think, okay, how'd the teams do? The Bucs were bad and the Panthers were good. So again, when a team is playing better, the players on that team get more attention. I think that's probably why Luke Kuechly won it this year. If you had flipped those records, it had probably been Levante David. Do you agree?
Agreed. And that's where my point remains, that Levante David has been overlooked because our team, and in a word you like to use, totality, has not had good seasons. But because of those poor seasons, poor offense, bad coaching, an incredible Hall of Fame level linebacker has been overlooked because of the team's total grade. Now, some other interesting facts about Levante David: his overall stats when compared to Bobby Wagner or Luke Kuechly, Ray Lewis, Derek Brooks, Patrick Willis, Levante David has 195 games played. Now, it's hard to compare him to Luke Kuechly, who only had 118. I get that. I'm not trying to say that Levante David is better than Luke Kuechly just based off his stats. I'm trying to say that even the year that Luke Kuechly won Defensive Player of the Year, which was arguably his greatest year at the middle linebacker position, Levante David was still a higher, in my opinion, graded player than Luke Kuechly. When you compare him to Bobby Wagner, who had more games played, they both had the same amount of interceptions. Levante David has more sacks with less games played, more solo tackles, and more forced fumbles, 31 to Bobby Wagner's 7. So total takeaways, Levante David blows Bobby Wagner out of the water. Yet Bobby Wagner has been listed 10 All-Pros, 9 Pro Bowls, and 1 Super Bowl. He will go to the Hall of Fame. Bobby Wagner will go to the Hall of Fame. because of these stats, but statistically has a worse overall stat than Levante David. Ray Lewis, who is the epitome of the middle linebacker position, the greatest middle linebacker arguably of all time.
And to clarify, before you go forward, you're talking about inside linebackers only, right? You're not talking about edge guys that play outside.
I'm not talking about Lawrence Taylor or DeMarcus Ware or James Harris. I'm talking about these guys who predominantly rushed the QB. I'm talking about the guys who, like Derek Brooks was also in the same type of position that Levante David was. He played an outside linebacker, but he was a coverage linebacker. He played the middle line. He played the middle of the field, but he was listed at right outside linebacker.
All right, continue.
When you look at Ray Lewis and his stats, Ray Lewis played for three or four. I can't remember the exact number, and I'm just going off games played. 3 or 4 more seasons than Levante has played for so far. And he had 31 interceptions. I don't look at like the yards per interception or whatever. 3 touchdowns, 3 interception touchdowns where Levante has 2. 41 and a half sacks. So if Levante does not retire after this season, he will have more sacks than Ray Lewis had. Solo tackles. This is where Ray Lewis has 468 more solo tackles than Levante David. Forced fumbles. Again, 19 Ray Lewis to Levante David's 31. That is, Levante David has been known. You know how when they talk about Charles Tillman, they talk about the peanut punch? I wish Levante David, I almost wish he was on a better team so people could have seen how great he really was. Because he has been known to punch the ball out. 31 career fumbles is more than anybody on the middle linebacker list, period.
I know you're not talking. I know that you're not trying to make the case though that Levante David is better than Ray Lewis. No,
absolutely not. No.
Okay, we're talking about a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Yes, he is like in a league of his own.
I'm trying to say that if Levante David's career doesn't end this year and he plays another 4 years, his stats will be almost, if not better than Ray Lewis's, if he continues his trajectory. I'm just saying, if he plays the same way he's been playing for the last 13 years and plays another 4 and does the same thing he's always done, he will end his career with better statistics than Ray Lewis minus the playoffs and Super Bowls, which are a huge thing that tied to someone's legacy. Overall, Levante David statistically has had better careers than Luke Kuechly, Bobby Wagner, Patrick Willis, Junior Seau, London Fletcher, Brian Urlacher, and Zach Thomas. Statistically. And his career isn't even over yet. So my thing is, take it or leave it. Levante David is a top 10. I'm not even saying the number 1. Just top 10 inside linebacker of all time. And the reason this is my take is because if you go to any NFL list, if you go Google it right now, somebody can fact check me and say best inside linebackers, best middle linebackers of all time, he's not even top 50.
That it?
That's it, man. My rant's over. It's almost a rant off rip. But I'm tired of the disrespect on his name, man. He's been so consistent for so long.
I understand. Hey, if we're still doing this podcast in 4 or 5 years, let's see. Let's see where he stacks up once he's done.
Well, hopefully we're still friends in 4 or 5 years and we could talk about this. Jeez.
I hope that we would be. Let's move on, Bryce, and let's get to our pick, man. I gotta choose.
Bro, that's
you didn't ask me. You didn't ask me.
I did ask you. Take it or leave it.
I said let's revisit in 4 years. I'm not gonna leave it. If I was leaving it, I would just be trolling you. Like, I hear what your argument, dude. I hear it.
I appreciate that you're not leaving it. I'm a little confused why you're not taking it.
Because I would need to do more research for myself. I'm not a Bucs fan. You probably know a lot about Levante. Go ahead.
Hey, Sammy, if you agree with me, text me offline. Let me know if you agree with me, because I need someone to take it.
I don't know that Sam's going to be your guy to take that. I'm not sure.
I think he will. I think I'll make him a fan.
All right. He's a Ray Lewis guy. You know, he's a Raven. So, I don't know. We'll see. All right, Bryce. Is it okay if can we move? Are you good with if we just move on?
Your Jared Goff debate, I gave you a lot of feedback I spoke back. I took things. I left things.
Oh,
you're leaving me on a cliffhanger here, saying
I
give it a
don't
few
know
years.
enough about Levante. You said it yourself. I don't know enough about Levante David to know if I would put him in my top 10 of all time.
Can you do me a favor then? Can you do your
Sure.
homework this week and next week come back with something?
Yes.
All right, bet. Pound it. In case y'all are wondering, if you're listening, we just pounded it.
Let's move on, Bryce. Let's get to some of our picks. Let's run that back. Let's look back on week 15.
Look at us, man.
It was a good week, man.
We cooked.
It was a good week. We were both 14-2. Now, I went back and compiled our overall records since we started this podcast, and we started doing picks in week 9. So we have that to share this week as well for the season. And again, this is since week 9 for Boys Talking Ball. I'm 74-27, and you're 66-35. Those are good betting odds, brother.
I'm sad I'm less than you, but you are better at picking than I am.
Well, you're the upset guy.
I am. I took some upsets this week, man. I shouldn't have gone the way they did.
But. Yeah, I thought the Chargers would pull it out at home. Obviously, they didn't. We both thought the Panthers would beat the Cowboys at home, and they really didn't. Cowboys looked pretty decent, man. It was weird. It was weird to see.
Yeah, that was a weird game.
You said the Packers were frauds, and they showed up.
Seahawks were frauds. They looked bad.
That's what you meant.
Yeah, typo.
Yeah, but we got everything else right, man. And now maybe it was just an easy week to pick in the NFL, but also we both picked the Bills over the Lions. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. We both picked the Rams to beat the Niners. So we got a lot of things right. Good week. Excellent.
Yeah, 14-2 for both of us. How many people out there go 14-2 on picks? I really want to know, because I think we're actually
raise your hands right now if you do.
Yeah, go ahead, raise your hand. Yeah. Oh, you see that guy back there?
No.
He got one. Oh, you didn't see him? What about that? No. Okay, go give him a Bible.
I don't see many hands. Go give him a Bible.
Dude, 14-2 is incredible, though. I mean, I don't want to just graze over the fact that, like, of course, you're doing excellent on the season, dude. 74-27. And that's just, by the way, that's just since week 9.
Thanks, man.
I've never seen you in the negative.
Thank you. Hopefully we can continue our winning ways as we continue our picks. But let's get on to week 16. We got a good slate. I'm going to give you a couple notable matchups, and I'll just preface by saying there aren't as many this week as there have been in past weeks, but that's okay. I don't see as many exciting matchups on the slate as we maybe normally do, but we'll pull apart a few of them, and then we can get to our rapid picks. The first notable matchup that we've got this weekend comes to us on Thursday night. It's the 9-5 Denver Broncos headed to Los Angeles to face the slumping 8-6 Los Angeles Chargers. I think we know which way you're going to pick this, but why don't you vocalize it for the record?
I think the first glance, I have Broncos winning this, and the reason I have Broncos winning is Broncos are surging. Their team looks good. Sean Payton's up there right now for Coach of the Year. He's definitely turned that team around, and they look like a really competitive team. Bo Nix is playing really well. Defense is playing well. I think that's just a realistic setting right now of the Chargers. Is there's more fans from other teams visiting their stadium. So is a home game really a home game? What I'm worried about is, like, a lot of times we look at home games and we go, oh, dang, I'm going to give the edge to this home squad because they got their crowd and everything. But do the Chargers have their crowd? I don't know, dude. Fans were leaving the game early on Sunday against the Bucs because it just felt they were done. They're like, oh, this game's boring. Like, I'm leaving. So I have the Broncos winning, and I don't think that the Chargers being at home is a factor. And so, like, that's the only edge I would have given them. Had this been any other team, I would have been like, I don't know, man. Broncos can lose one here. But I think Broncos beat the Chargers, especially right now. It has the Chargers at a negative 2.5. So they actually think the Chargers will win this one. If Justin Herbert don't have that ankle figured out by Thursday, short week, by the way, after a tough game, after, a lot of those guys are beaten up after that, and he's coming in with a sore ankle. Does that play a factor against that defense? That defense is arguably better than ours, and ours took care of him. So I think this is an easy one for me. Even though the spread doesn't go this way, I have the Broncos winning this one.
I think this is a bit of a trap for Denver, a little bit, because I think everybody feels about the Chargers the way that you feel about them. and neither of us have really been high on the Chargers. Well,
in the last few weeks.
in the last few weeks. I wish Justin Herbert was healthy, because then I feel like I could give an accurate pick here. But I'm nervous because we played both of these teams, we being the Browns. And so I got to see them both firsthand, and I don't know. It's tough. It's two really good defenses and then two offenses. The Broncos offense has been coming on, but they haven't been like this the whole year. So, and we talked about that too. And again, they're riding a wave of momentum here, and the Chargers really aren't. But the Chargers need this one badly.
Yeah. I want to see what you'll pick, because low-key it confirms. If you pick Broncos, then I'm like, cool, the Broncos will probably win. But if you pick Chargers, I might go in my pick'ems later this week and change it to Chargers, because I don't know.
I think Vegas and I are on the same page. Like, I still feel like the Chargers have a bit of an edge. Oh, man, I don't know.
Well, man, you have to pick at some point in this pod.
Crazy. Here's what's crazy. A lot of times, like, what everybody just believes is going to happen, for sure, this is going to happen. Obviously, it's going to happen. This team is riding a wave. This team is terrible. This is going to happen. Sometimes that doesn't happen, right? We all thought the Panthers were going to beat the Cowboys last week, and you and I weren't the only ones that thought that. I was watching national media members saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even close to happening. The Panthers didn't look anything like they'd looked in the past few weeks, and the Cowboys looked probably the best that they have all season. So I say that to say is, again, it's the NFL and anything can happen here. Divisional game. Give me the Chargers. Give me the Chargers.
Dang, lock it in. Lock it in.
I don't know. That's just my gut is telling me to pick the Chargers. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's move on to Saturday's game. We got some Saturday games this week, which is cool. The first of which is at 1:00. You've got the 9-5 Houston Texans headed to Kansas City to play the 13-1 Chiefs. I think the big question we have to answer here, and we obviously don't know the answer to it now, is whether or not Patrick Mahomes will be available. Ian Rappaport reported that he's currently week to week, and his playing status for this week is in doubt. If he doesn't play, we're talking about Carson Wentz leading the Chiefs. We gotta put an asterisk on this one this week. Okay. If it's Patrick Mahomes, give me the Chiefs. If it's Carson Wentz, give me the Texans. Fair?
Sure. I'll take that. And I like that. Here's been my strategy for the rest of the season. I'm just going to pick Chiefs. And every time I pick Chiefs, it's because I hope they lose. And so I'm picking Chiefs just in hopes they lose. I'm literally risking my record for picks just so that the Chiefs lose. It didn't work last week, and I was really frustrated. But go ahead. I also agree.
Is this an outright, or is this?
No, I'm with you on the asterisk. I'll jump on the boat because I don't want my pick to get messed up.
And I think that's fair because it's a totally different team without the best player to ever play.
Totally different. So give me Chiefs if they got Patty. If they don't, I think Texans roll.
Cool. And then the other game you've got on Saturday at 4:30, it's an AFC North battle, which we always love those. The 10-4 Steelers in Baltimore to play the 9-5 Baltimore Ravens. What you got?
Dude, it's tough because the Steelers just went to Philly, and I know that's their backyard, right? Now they're on the road again to another tough matchup. It's not like this is tough 2-game stretch. And now they're playing the Ravens on a short week. 1 day short, but that's still short. You know, that's a whole day you could have rested. But now you got to go out there and play at 4:30 on a Saturday. The Ravens got a -6 spread. The Steelers offense has been really passive. Here's what's tough, dude. As a fan that you are for the AFC North, you know these matchups are tough. And these two teams hate each other. I don't love just thinking Ravens come in and the Steelers come to the Ravens house and just lose. That just doesn't feel like the headline for me. Monday morning or Sunday morning, I don't feel like I'm waking up to a headline like Ravens roll Steelers at home. Like it don't feel right. But the way they've been playing, the passivity, they're coming off a tough loss. It's a short week. I feel just as torn as you were about that Broncos game. This is a tough one to predict. But the Steelers have a better record at 10-4, 1 game. Ravens coming off a win. Give me Ravens. I think Ravens do win this game with a Justin Tucker field goal to seal it, to get his groove back. He's going to hit like a 60-yarder. Maybe not to win the game, but I'm calling it now. Justin Tucker's going to hit a long field goal in this game. and it's going to rejuvenate some sort of weird juju he had in that game. So that's my prediction. I got to take the Ravens here. I'm not just going with the spread. I'm not trying to pick a safe pick. I think the Ravens are the better team, and I think that the Ravens want the win more. And this is about the same time where Steelers will probably unravel and lose. So give me Ravens. It is what it is.
All right. What was your headline?
Ravens roll Steelers at home. Like, I don't see that happening.
Here's my take. Ravens roll Steelers at home.
Okay. Dang. Short and sweet, man. You're not even talking about it?
No, I mean, I'm looking at the best offense in the NFL. Statistically, they are number 1 in the league overall. They are number 2 in rushing, number 3 in passing, 17 in defense. So this is a defense we've cooked all season. They're still middle of the pack right now, average. The Steelers, 18th overall in offense, 10th in rushing, 24th in passing, 9th overall in defense. I don't trust the Steelers offense. They're not going to be able to win with 6 field goals. They could kick 6 field goals this weekend, but it won't get them the win. Ravens are going to put up 30 plus on the Steelers and win in impressive fashion.
Imagine the Steelers win because they kick 6 field goals. Imagine. I would love for that to happen because that'd be so funny to come back and like clip that and be like, Chris Boswell hit 6 field goals to beat the Ravens at home.
You won't have to clip it. I'll come on the pod and we'll do an emergency pod. I'll come on and say I was absolutely wrong.
We'll release a 10-minute episode on Sunday.
Right. That's right. Emergency pod. All right, Bryce, we're going to fly through the rest of these games. Give me your quick predictions on each of these, and then we'll close out this week's episode. We've got the 2-12 Giants at the 7-7 Falcons.
Oh, man. I need the Falcons to lose so bad. Give me the Falcons.
Falcons. Give me the Falcons. 7-7 Cardinals at the 3-11 Panthers. Give me the Panthers.
Give me the Cardinals.
Okay. The 12-2 Lions headed to Chicago to play the 4-10 Chicago Bears. Who you got?
The Bears played them good on Thanksgiving. They only lost because of terrible coaching. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take Detroit. The 3-11 Titans now being led by Mason Rudolph, by the way. Will Levis benched. Headed to Indianapolis to play the 6-8 Colts. Who you got?
Before I tell you who I got, did you see that Will Levis, in that game, his ex-girlfriend was in attendance? So his ex comes to the game. I don't know why she's there.
Is this the girl that was with him draft night?
Probably.
Okay.
It's his ex-girlfriend. I don't know if she was with him. Anyways, how embarrassing as a grown man to have your ex-girlfriend in attendance. You throw 3 picks and get benched. Like, dude, that's embarrassing.
Hey, let me flip the perspective on you. How cool is it as a grown man to play in the NFL in front of your girlfriend? Well, I guess ex-girlfriend.
Well, the ex-girlfriend probably doesn't. The ex-girlfriend is probably on that tier of like just dating men like that. Anyways, she's already in that era, so it's probably not that impressive to her, and she probably got the ick. Anyways, give me Colts.
Unless homegirl is dating somebody else on the team, she shouldn't be at that game.
Yeah, that's kind of cringe. Give me Colts.
I'll take the Colts. The 8-6 Los Angeles Rams hit the road to face the newly youthful 4-10 New York Jets.
She's alive. The Jets are back. Give me the Rams.
Rams. 12-2 Philadelphia Eagles headed to Washington to face the 9-5 Washington Commanders. It's going to be a good game, I think. This is a divisional matchup.
Mm-hmm.
This is a
salty run back.
Yeah. The Commanders couldn't take care of business last time.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Eagles are playing so well right now. I really want to consider the Commanders, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna take Philly. Who you got?
Give me Commanders on this one. And low-key, this is a notable matchup because this is 2 teams that Commanders really need the wins. The spread isn't that big for the Eagles. I like the Commanders here for the salty run back. Give me 1-on-1 on the division for the 2 of them. I don't think Eagles sweep.
Okay. The 3-11 Cleveland Browns at the 6-8 Cincinnati Bengals. Jameis Winston benched. It'll be Dorian Thompson-Robinson at the helm.
You like
for
him?
Cleveland. Love him.
You actually like him?
I do. I don't know if he's going to be the answer for the team, but I like him as a teammate and as a person. As a player, yet to be seen. He's going to have a 3-game audition here to close out the season, and they're going to make a decision on him in the offseason. That's what this is about. But who you got in this game?
For the sake of my fantasy playoffs, give me the Bengals because I need Jamar Chase to go off. I'm not going to say legacy game because, again, I only say that when it happens, and I'm always right. But give me Jamar Chase doing something because I need him to. Give me Bengals.
Bengals. The 12-2 Vikings at the 8-6 Seahawks. Will Geno Smith play? That's a good question.
Is he injured?
He had testing on his knee.
Dude, the Seahawks just lost like a tough game against the Packers, and the Vikings are better than the Packers in my opinion. So it's like kicking someone while you're down. Do the Seahawks bounce back against a team like the Vikings? Dude, we've been picking the Vikings all year because like even though we don't believe in Darnold wholeheartedly, like the team's playing really good and their defense is playing really good. And I unfortunately have to take the Vikings here, but I'd like to see the Seahawks win. But for the sake of my picks, I'm going Vikings.
Seahawks.
At home, by the way.
At home. Need a win to stay atop the division. I'll take the Vikings as well. The 3-11 New England Patriots at the 11-3 Buffalo Bills. Who you got?
Dude, what is up with the schedule this week where it's just like teams with like insane records just having these matchups against the worst teams?
This game in particular, did you see that the Bills are debuting a new uniform combo? It's the first time they're going to wear this combo. It's the white helmets, which I think their helmets are always white. I can't remember. And then it's the red. They have a red jersey they're wearing with white pants. And somebody in the comments was like, so who allowed them to wear the Patriots jersey uniform combo against the Patriots? That's crazy. They literally look like the Patriots. The Bills are gonna roll. This isn't even a question.
Dude, so we know the Bills are gonna win, and we both have Bills no matter what, and Josh Allen's gonna go crazy. My question to you is they have a negative 14-point spread. Do they cover spread?
Yes.
I know we're not a spread pod, but
cover.
That's like one of the biggest spreads I've ever seen.
The next game we've got this one right here we should have talked about in our notable matchups. The 3-11 Jacksonville Jaguars headed to Vegas to take on the 2-12 Las Vegas Raiders. Who wants the better pick here? I think that's the question.
Thing is, Mac Jones likes to play ball. What I like about Mac Jones is like he gave it his all. But they put up a fight against the Jets and they put up 20-something points, 25 points. I think Jaguars, but if they want to lose and help their draft, this is a weird game because like I don't know what the frick's gonna happen. But
don't lose sleep over it, man.
I think Jaguars win.
I'm going to go Jags as well. 6-8 San Francisco 49ers headed to Florida to take on the 6-8 Miami Dolphins. All but lost in the playoff hunt for the Dolphins.
Give me Dolphins.
Yeah, I'll take the Dolphins there as well. The 8-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers headed to Dallas on a Sunday night to take on the 6-8 Cowboys. Who you got?
Give me the Bucs, baby. There's no way you're contemplating this, right?
Have you listened to anything I've said over the past couple of weeks? I said that you guys would lose one more, and I said that it would either be against the Chargers or the Cowboys. So if I'm going to be stubborn and pick according to what I've predicted, I'd have to say the Cowboys at home.
All right. Keep it that way.
I want to so bad, man. I want to so bad. Give me the Bucs.
Yeah.
The 5-9 Saints at the 10-4 Packers on Monday night. I think we can make quick work of this one. Give me the Packers.
Packers. I do want to change one.
You're changing one.
I am.
We've never had this happen before. Is it allowed? Are we allowed to do this?
Well, the pod ain't over.
No, but you already made your picks and you heard all of my picks. So how do I know that you're not strategically switching one to try to?
If you tell me I can't, I won't. Let me tell you what I'm changing, and if you agree,
okay. I don't really care. I was just kind of stirring up drama, but go ahead.
I'm actually going to take Giants over Falcons to end their season.
Is that just because you don't like the Falcons and you want the Bucs to like solidify why are you making that change?
It's about 70% that and 30% that the Falcons looked so bad against the Raiders on Monday, and Kirk Cousins doesn't look good. I genuinely think this is the game the Giants could trap the Falcons and beat them. So,
okay.
And also, if you ask Giants fans, we have a friend that is one. Shout out Justin. He will tell you that the Giants historically mess up even their draft order. They will even mess up the fact that they have a good draft pick by winning this game. And in funny fashion, are going to win this game. And fans are going to be like, why did we win this? We're so mad. This will be the game they do it, and it will help us. And I will be so happy. That is what's going to happen. Calling it.
All right, bro. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I look forward to next week's Christmas edition of the pod.
Well, that's true, dude. Should we talk about that? Because there's going to be games on Christmas.
Next week's pod TBD. We'll let you know what's going to happen for next week.
We might take a sabbatical. Catch up
now
all.
We're just not doing it. Now we're just not doing it.
I want to, and I can.
What about a shortened version of BTB? All right, we'll talk about it offline. Why are we talking about this in front of the listeners? Why? Because we're transparent. We want you to be brought in.
And because this part's getting cut out, and you ain't going to hear it.
They're probably gonna send in emails being like, "We don't want to hear y'all Christmas. Can we get a break?"
Have we gotten an email yet?
I don't think I've checked.
We have like hundreds of emails racked up.
I'll check immediately once we get off air. Always good talking ball with you. Hope y'all enjoyed listening. Hit us up on social as usual at Boys Talking Ball.
Talking Ball.
Instagram, TikTok at BTB Football Pod on Twitter. Email us boystalkingball@gmail.com. I may or may not see it. I'm not sure.
You probably won't. I might have to start logging into that.
We love y'all. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.